Hello everyone, welcome back to Kirklees Guitar School. In today's riff lesson, I'm going to teach you the main riff to Black Dog by Led Zeppelin. There's a full free tab that you can download for free from the first link in the description. That'll take you to my website. You don't have to give me your email address or any monkey business, you just literally click on download PDF and there's nearly 100 other lessons on there with free resources that you can take. I encourage you to check it out. Journey Guitars have partnered with me for this lesson, so I'm going to be playing one of their guitars today. Let me just put it together and get it tuned up, and then at the back end of this lesson we can have a talk about it because I'm really impressed with this little travel guitar. This is the whole thing. I'm going to break it down in a second, but what I want to get under as fingers today and what I'd like you to be able to walk away from this lesson playing is this. So let's break it down into chunks. Now you'll notice here there's a couple of like time signature changes. Now at the top line there's nothing there at all. All that's there's like a sort of bit of a like whirring guitar part that's sort of grandfathered in from the previous track, I think, of the record, which connects them. And then in about bar 3 you'll hear Robert Plant sing "Hey Mama said the way you move," that bit, right? We start off with a bar of 3/4, and I think we need to caveat this with this piece, depending on who you ask and what drummer you ask, will all tell you it's in a different time signature or a different way of chopping it up, okay? Because John Bonham's hailed as the sort of Jimi Hendrix of drums, if that makes sense. He's a phenomenal drummer, and he's really pushing and pulling the timing. Now, you don't really need to concern yourself too much with how many beats are in a bar. I mean, they're here for your own sort of study. But if you have a look, I'm looking at the middle row here. That bar we're going to count to 3. We're then going to count to 4 for bar 2 and bar 3, and then we're going to count to 5 for the last bar. What I'd like you to kind of zone in on first for me is this bit here where we've got the bar of 3/4. Now the key here is we don't start at the beginning of the bar. This little squiggle here is called a crotchet rest, which means that we don't have to play anything for a full beat. And this funny looking 7 is what we call a quaver rest. So we don't play, and a quaver lasts for half a beat. So we don't have to play anything for the first beat and a half. And we start with this ring finger on the 7th fret of the A string. It's an E note. I'm playing that with a downstroke. And then I'm going to go index, middle on the D string on fret 5 and 6. Bam, bam, bam. We're then going to go into the next bar and we're going to play the 7th fret on the D string. You see how we're sort of connecting fret finger 1, 2 and 3 there? I'm then going to rock that ring finger back up to that E note. And I'm down and up picking all this. I'm then going to play the 5th fret on the G string, and you see that it's got like a little arrow going up, and it says a quarter. It's like the equivalent of half a fret is that quarter. We're just bending it. You're just bending it out of tune ever so slightly. Now, if you bend it too far, it won't sound right. Doesn't sound right, does it? So you're almost just kind of bending it out of tune ever so slightly before you return into that 7th fret on the D. And then we're going to do a position shift up to fret 7 with the index finger on the G string, and then play the 9th fret underneath it. Pause the video and get that under your fingers. Moving on. This is bar 3 and bar 4. We've come from fret 7 and fret 9. Up here, you remember we did the position shift? As quickly as we came up, we're going to come back down. So we've just done 7 and 9 in the previous slide. I'm then going to move that entire block down 2 frets I'm going to pick the 5th fret of the G string with the index finger, and then I'm going to hammer onto fret number 7 and then pull off again in triplets. You see underneath the music here there's a little 3. It's like a little flurry of notes. I'm hammering and then I'm pulling off. I'm then going to take my ring finger and I'm going to hit the 7th fret on that D string twice. I do that little tweak out of tune and back to where I once came. I do have a habit of picking these 2 7s with downstrokes. It just feels more comfortable to me. Moving into this bar, I'm going up to the D string. I'm going to play the 5th fret with the index finger and then 7th fret with the ring finger twice. I'm then going to move up a string. I'm going to play 5, 7, do another position shift down 2 frets to 3 and 5, and then I'm going to hit this A chord down here. So can you see how I'm using predominantly index and ring finger? And it's all about just systematically moving to the bottom of the neck. So let's have a look at that. That's the previous 2 slides glued together. Pause the video and get that under your fingers. This is the bulk of the lesson. If you feel okay, I think what a lot of people miss here, you're going to hit this A5 chord down here, open A string and 2nd fret of the D at the same time. But then as we move into the next bit where Robert Plant starts singing again, you hit that a 2nd time. Now, I think that's tactical. I think the band have put that in there to sort of, if anyone gets lost, if any of the 4 members get lost, it's kind of like that's the start of the new section. That's beat 1, is that, because the timing's really kind of all over the place. I'm using a Boss Katana Artist Generation 3 today, and these are my settings that I'm using, and I'm using the line out and recording into Logic Pro. I'm sort of thinking, I haven't done too much research into what Page was actually using, but you just want a nice kind of crunchy guitar tone. You see I'm using the crunch setting on the amplifier, splash of reverb, and I'm using the bridge pickup. We're going for that kind of Les Paul-y kind of vibe. Now, I know Page recorded most things on the Telecaster and a little Fender Champ, but I just got the best tone out of this today. Even if you go up into the rest of the song, which maybe we'll cover another day, if you'd like to see it, let me know in the comments down below. It's kind of all based around this pentatonic kind of... Great song. It's a great song. So hopefully you got that under your fingers. Remember to go and get the PDF completely for free from the first link in the description. So as promised, let me show you a little bit more about this Journey guitar. So as you can see and you can hear, it's held its tune. It's done everything that you'd expect from a single cut type guitar. Now, I recently did a fly gig, and unfortunately I wasn't able to take this guitar, but the idea of this is you've got a fully fledged, capable electric guitar, and you can pack it away into this case. So as I said, Journey partnered with me on this video, and if you like the look of this guitar, I've put a link in the description where you can check out the Journey website. It looks like this. And that's what we call an affiliate link. If you decide that you like the look of this guitar, or it will do you... it'll do for a little project that you've got going on. If you purchase the guitar through that link, it supports us here at the school, and I get a little bit of a kickback. No extra cost to you guys, but it's really... I'm genuinely impressed with this guitar. I get sent all kinds of rubbish that you don't see on the YouTube channel that I then send back because I don't want to be pushing. You know, my main offering is the academy. I'm a teacher at heart, but occasionally brands will reach out, and I'm conscious that I don't want to sort of overdo it. But I'm genuinely really impressed with this product. Now the idea is, as I put it together in the beginning of the video, this guitar physically comes apart, and you can put it away in this convenient gig bag. So let me show you how to do that. Now on the back of the guitar, there's like a wing nut. Can you see here? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start undoing that wing nut. Now I've got to go a fair old way. And what that's done is it's gonna let the mechanism release. Now can you see this little black button here? If I press that black button, the neck comes off the guitar. So what we do then, very, very gingerly, lift the neck off the guitar, make sure not to scratch anything, and then the head comes off the guitar. Let me show you on a close-up. I'm trying to do this on my knee without dropping it, otherwise you'll all laugh at me. So then the head physically comes off the guitar. So let's take this fella, we'll put it down there for a second. And then what the idea is, the guitar, now this is awkward, this is strange, but once you've done it a few times you learn not to sort of scratch anything. And there's a little sleeve in here. Where are we? And the idea is that you put the head in there, and then you know you have like a laptop bag. This is no exception. So I'll take this and just put this out of the way down here. This goes into the back slot of the guitar, of the backpack, which keeps everything nice and protected. And then that has a convenient little pocket in the bag that you put it in there. Now I must admit, these are the original strings on the guitar. Now this has a sleeve as well, but unfortunately it's over there at the other side of the room, so I'm not gonna disturb us. This little demonstration, but there is like another sleeve that goes in here, and the convenient little slot in the bag, and that goes on your backpack. Most airlines here in the UK, it's 10 kgs is your limit that you can take for carry-on. This guitar, off the top of my head, I think it's something like 3 point something off the top of my head. It's the Journey OE990 model. They do like a bit of a Telecaster type one as well, which I'd like to see in a not too distant future. But in this bag, although it is quite bulky, I could fit my quad cortex, I could fit everything else that I need for the gig in this backpack quite comfortably, even some clothes for carry if you're just doing carry-on, and still be under the weight limit for airlines. So let's say that we've been to the airport and we come back. I want to practice some guitar. You literally repeat the process backwards. So I've got my little thing there. Now I'm not sure longevity wise whether your strings will sort of like wear a little bit prematurely. I don't know, from being under tension and then not. And we literally repeat the process in reverse, which is a bit of a faff, but also if I took your neck off, you'd be cross as well. And we'll just, there we go. And that goes in there. There's like a little slot that it fits into, and you very gently, nice satisfying click. And then I wind the wing nut up like this. Now, most people that have come to me in the studio today, well, this week, sorry, have said to me, does it stay in tune after you've done it, after you've put it back together? It's not bad. It's not bad. Let me turn my amplifier back on. Wait for that to warm up. It's okay, but it will need a little tune. But like I say, if you flew in different climates with most guitars to a different climate, they need tuning up anyway. So make sure you head to the Journey, check out the Journey range via the link in the description down below, and that is an affiliate link if you fancy picking one of these up. Like I say, I don't often do much stuff like this, but I'm genuinely really impressed with this guitar. Now, most guitars that come on the channel I give away at Christmas in the Riffs competitions. I don't know if I can let this one go. We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, if you'd like me to do a full breakdown of the Led Zeppelin song that I covered today, let me know in the comments down below. I'll see you next week for another guitar lesson. Thank you so much for watching.